An Erios original.
Hello. Oh. Hello again, and welcome to Web Crawlers mini episodes. These episodes are smaller than our bigger episodes, hence the name mini. Today, we are going to do a little mailbag episode where we are going to read your DMs, your emails, and read your reviews and play your voicemails. And we actually, we don't usually do mailbag episodes, but we have so many emails and voicemails that we just decided to dedicate a whole episode to it. First things first is a message from Nicole C, as well as a 5-star review from her. Yes. The message says, it's from Nicole. I listened to the daily episode of Web Crawlers, and the length of the episode decides how long I walk my dog for. That's good to know.
Wow, we're controlling people's lives.
Yes. It's like they're our Sims.
You are our Sim, Nicole.
As I've mentioned, my dog. My boyfriend and I rehomed her in January, and for a while she would not want to go out for evening walk before bed. We tried treats, etc. Nothing would work. So one evening after listening to the original episode where you mentioned Puckwudgies, I decided to, I think she adopted her. I think my boyfriend and I adopted her in January.
Yeah.
Not rehomed her, right?
Oh, rehomed her. Or maybe she stayed with some friends for a while.
I don't know. Okay.
Stay with me. Won't you stay with me?
Is that you too? Is that Bono?
No, that's
When
Sam
the
Smith.
world is-
Oh, I don't listen. Okay.
And
and
it's Tom Petty.
I decided to make Maria's Puckwudgie voice and speak to her like that. Amazingly, this works. So now whenever she's being stubborn, my boyfriend and I have to be Puckwudgies to her. That's cute.
Hey, stop doing what you're doing.
Hey, stop doing what you're doing.
That's a bad dog right there.
I hate it.
Say that one more time so we can isolate it.
That's bad dog right there.
Ugh, it gives me chills.
I want to play that all the time. Anytime we talk about a murderer, I want to insert that Maria and Puckwudgie voice. Oh, that's a bad dog right there.
That's bad dog right there.
Oh.
And here's her review. Boing, favorite podcast by far. Perfect mix of crime stories, phenomenon, and Puckwudgies. I binge listened to the entire series from January to March. So glad there are daily shows now, as I was struggling waiting a week, plus mini episodes between podcasts. Allie, Melissa, Maria, you three are absolutely hilarious. Keep up the good work. Bye.
That's nice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Melissa, what does Elise have to say? Another message.
Elise says, I'm listening to your story about urban legends, and I just heard about Cuba Road and White Cemetery in Barrington, Illinois. I've been there, and Cuba Road, White Cemetery is so scary. There's also another cemetery in nearby Crystal Lake, aka my hometown.
Isn't that where?
Yeah.
Isn't Crystal Lake where?
Jason. Jason?
Yeah.
Freddie? Jason?
Yeah.
Jason.
Yeah.
Jason. Called Mount Tabor. I went there with my best friend once in high school with my brand new camcorder.
Cool.
This was before cell phones had video. I'm 30 fucking years old on my dinosaur. Oh, girl, you are not a
You're
dinosaur.
telling, yeah, girl. Enjoy.
And the camcorder, fully charged, died at the cemetery and never turned back on. I always wondered
my
what
God.
that camera captured, but I guess we'll never know. Pretty spooky,
shit.
if you ask me.
Yeah.
I agree.
Love your podcast. Please keep it up. You're keeping me sane in between working full time and keeping out any way I can and all of this mess in my spare time. Seriously, fuck racism. Thank you, ladies. P.S. I am now on the Amelia Earhart episode, and I did a biography project on her in 3rd grade. I had to dress up like her for the presentation, so I wore my leather jacket for days on end to wear it in, and I even wore one of those little aviation helmet things. She is so rad.
Wow.
She's my hero. Fantasy Coven member. Thanks again. That's amazing.
That's so cute. Someone actually DM'd me privately, and I think we've actually talked about this before. Her name is Bonnie. Hey girl, hey, I heard your question redoing an EVP at home. I have an app called Sleep Talk, and I think we talked about this during the paralysis episodes.
Sleep Talk.
That I downloaded to see if I snore. I do, like a freight train. It is noise activated, so it only records if a sound occurs. My house is about 100 years old, and I keep meaning to leave my phone in my attic or basement overnight with the app going, but I'm too scared to see what it might pick up.
Oh, no.
Super easy way to try to do EVP yourself. Love you, love the show. And then she did the link for it. So if that's something you're interested in too, then get the Sleep Talk app, because that seems like a good choice as well.
Yeah, I stopped using it because it would always just pick up helicopters. For hours of helicopters.
Remember when that famous person we don't know sent me his Sleep Talk recordings?
Yes.
And it was just him saying the word like potato.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if I still have those. We should play those again at some point. So we have some emails too. What do our emails say?
This one is from Matt. Said the subject is my iPod teleported across my room. Says, hey, Allie, Melissa, and Maria. I discovered the show last week via PFT, and I love it. Superior version of the My Favorite Murder format, in my opinion. Anyway.
Hell yeah, baby.
We wanted to share a quick freaky story, as it's the only time something like this has happened to me. I was laying in bed with a girlfriend at the time, and one of us knocked our iPod Touch off the bed. We heard the very distinct singular thud of flat metal hitting wood. My ex leaned over to grab it, but since it was pitch black, had a hard time finding it. We both ended up searching for it, and when we turned on the lights, it was nowhere near the bed on the floor, but it was in her backpack across the room. Our phones were on the bed. Weird. Keep up the great work. It's been a delight. Best, Matt. So they heard the iPod fall, but then it ended up across the room on her backpack.
I actually honestly have a similar story to this, and I'm not kidding. So the other day, every day, but this is why I'm a little bit confused. So it could there's two explanations. So every night I come into my bedroom to go to bed, and I bring my laptop and my cell phone and I plop them on my bed because I don't immediately go to bed. I use them, and then I go into my bathroom to brush my teeth and pee and everything like that. And then I go into my bed and my laptop's there and my phone is not there, and I'm super, super confused. And then I'm looking everywhere. I go back in the living room and I'm did I leave my phone in the living room? Where is it? I check all around my room. I can't find it. And then I walk back in and my phone is on my dog's dog bed.
What?
Is it barking?
Does it have legs and a tail?
And I just don't think, okay, my dog is a 6-pound Chihuahua thing. I feel maybe it can. So that's why I'm saying there's multiple. It either glitched to another location, or my dog picked it up and moved it to the dog bed.
Are there
That's
teeth
crazy.
marks on your phone?
Yeah, was it wet? Or was it have any slobber on it?
No, but my dog has a very
Dry mouth.
I know
All right,
this from all
that's
the time I
debunked
spend in
then.
there.
Debunked.
So I don't know. That's just something I'm throwing out there too.
Interesting.
What's this one from Sherry?
Okay.
My Sherry amor.
The subject is simulation glitch, question mark.
Oh, where did his phone end up?
Hey, gang. My friend Allie and I.
That's my name.
Another Allie. Weird.
I don't.
Both work together at a large...
Debunked.
Like a stamp. Debunked. My friend Allie and I both work together at a large pharmacy chain.
Oh boy.
I'm thinking,
Oh my god.
what just happened?
What?
What happened? Are you okay?
So I was shaking shaking my drink, and my underarm jiggled a lot.
Oh no.
And so I was like, whoa, that's crazy. But I only shook it a little bit. So then I decided to shake it more so I could look in Zoom to see how much my under thing. But then I realized my cap wasn't on all the way. So then juice just spilled everywhere.
Oh, that's the worst. Don't you wish you could go back in time sometimes? and just not do what you just did.
And not be myself.
You know, sometimes I'll spill something and I'll get so depressed in the moment because I'll go, oh, if I could only go back like 10 seconds and not do that, then I wouldn't have to clean it up.
That happened to me a week ago. I spilled this whole lemonade that I got from like John and Vinny's, and that's like my favorite lemonade. It was just a bit, and I spilled it, and I was like, this is
Did you cry?
Worst.
I would
almost
have cried,
did.
maybe.
I was so sad.
No use crying over spilled lemonade.
Exactly.
Well, they say when you spill lemonade, you make lemons.
Make lemons.
Yeah, make life out of spilled. Anyway, my friend Allie and I both work together at a large pharmacy chain. CVS, Walgreens, Rite Aid. She's obsessed with the simulation glitch episode, and that's all we've been discussing the last few days. Obviously, we had to write in after today's event. The chain we work for frequently sends out emails to customers.
Oh, Walgreens.
Yeah, today they sent out one that had a link for a coronavirus symptom checker that allows for patients to see if they have allergies, a cold, a flu.
Ooh, I'd love to get that email. That's like right up my alley. I love a chart that I follow to tell me what's wrong.
Yeah, I love a chart. One of our regular seniors came in today and was freaked out. She showed us her phone and today's email. When she clicked on the link for the symptom checker, it took her to a newspaper clipping instead. The newspaper clipping was her father's obituary from 1987.
No, I don't believe that.
She had never seen the obituary, and her name has changed since it was published, so there was no reason for it to link to her. She tried doing it a few different times with the same result. When I did it from my phone, it was a symptom checker like it was intended. Clearly, the only logical explanation was a glitch in the simulation. Sherry.
That's
I had chills. That's really weird.
How does that even...
And you can't read obituaries usually from newspapers without a subscription. So that's even weirder that it allowed her to do that.
Right.
That's like a weird story to make up. Like, you'd have to be like really creative to make that
No,
up.
you'd have to be a psycho to make it up, Allie.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to be really insane to make up the story. So that's why I believe it, because it's too weird. Why would you make this up? Why?
It's
That's
not
really
made up.
scary.
It's real.
It's real.
That's really scary.
Thank you, Sherry, for your real story.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I love this next one.
Do you want to read this, or do you not have your
No,
email?
I want you to read it.
Okay. This is a great one. This is from Yellow Lovely. It says, "Hey guys, I just wanted to say that I love the podcast, and I just listened to the corporate cult episode, and you guys started talking about Papa Roach, and I thought that was cool because my mom is friends with them. But anyway, I have a story to share." Hold on.
Like, what?
I'm sorry. Could you elaborate on how your mom is friends with them?
That's so crazy.
By the way, if your mom, how old is Papa Roach? They're
They
like,
seemed so much younger than I thought they were, unless that was an old picture of
They
them.
formed in 93.
so they're they're in their 40s or 50s now.
And why were we talking about Papa Roach on that?
Why aren't we always talking about Papa Roach?
I think.
Well, yeah. That's a good
I
question.
don't remember why we were. But anyway.
Wow. If you Google how old is Papa, it just comes up how old is Peppa Pig? How old is Papa Roach?
Oh my God, you
Peppa
guys.
Pig.
I just typed in how old is Papa Roach and my own obituary came up.
Maria!
Yes, it did for the year 3000.
Wait.
It says January 1st, 3000. Maria Blasucci dies by the hand of a robot. Yes,
Wow.
it does. It says I was stabbed in the heart
Well,
by my robot friend.
I mean,
Oh my God.
only a psycho would make up a story like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
Maria's best friend was robot AI 5932. Things turned south on Wednesday.
Wednesday.
January 1st, 3000 is a Wednesday. I just looked in the
we
calendar.
need to double
It's a
check
Wednesday.
that.
I guess I make friends with some sort of robot, and then things turn south, and then he or she kills me on Wednesday in the year 3000. Well, no, it would have been 2019. Wait,
29.99.
No, because New Year's isn't New Year's December 31st at midnight?
but I die on January 1st, 3000.
Right.
Okay.
So, and why am I still alive? This is crazy.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah,
My hands, I stabbed in the heart by a robot.
Wow, that's pretty. How do you feel after finding that right now?
I actually feel pretty. I think it's actually kind of comforting.
Cool.
Aren't there those websites where you can put in like your info and then it'll tell you the day you'll die?
Well, apparently it's if you type in Papa Roach's age.
It all diverts to your own obituary. It's like watching the Ring video. Don't ever Google Papa Roach age. It'll take you to your own obituary.
Yeah, careful.
That's like a really funny, just like horror movie idea that I'm sure some weird ass like would actually buy.
Yeah.
Let's pitch it, baby. Martin, I have an idea. What was I doing? Okay, this email.
We're podcasting.
But anyway, I have a story to share. So I live in Michigan in the Metro Detroit area, and the middle school that I went to the past few years had a ghost that we have all named Judy. We don't know her actual name, but we believe that she is a girl because she haunts the girls' bathroom and the hallway that it's in. The lights in the choir room, band room, and auditorium constantly flicker, and the spotlights and speakers in the auditorium turn on and off sometimes. One time, the choir kids, myself included, were practicing for our show on the stage when the spots turned on their own. For a while, we all thought this was just bad wiring in the hallway or something until I went to the bathroom during choir, and when I went to leave, the door was locked. The only people that could have locked the doors were teachers and custodians. I started banging on the door for someone to come help me, and the stall doors started swinging open and all the lights went out. I had to call one of my friends to come get me out. She opened the door easily and said there was no way it could have been locked. Nobody believed me, and then a few months later it happened again and I got it on video.
What?
I would send it, but I deleted it last year thinking I wouldn't need it. You need a video of
You
ghosts.
always need that. You always need that.
Blah, blah, blah. Needless to say, after those incidents, everyone tries to stay out of that bathroom.
Wow, I would too.
Well, maybe you're haunted by the fact that your mom is friends with Papa Roach.
That is very haunting.
Melissa, check your text.
Uh-oh. Oh no, is it your obituary?
No.
I mean, Maria checked the calendar for January 3000.
1st. 3000.
It's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday. Everything's checking out.
January 1st, the year 3000 is a Wednesday. And that's
I'm
the
going to put it
day
in
I
my
die.
Google calendar. I'll put it in my Google calendar.
Yeah, I'll put it in
I
my calendar
die.
too. Maria dies.
So our next email is from Cy Morley. Hi, babes. I feel like every episode lately has made me want to email you, but my ADHD ass can never remember to actually do things. So here are the few thoughts I remember for now. I'm pretty sure in the fast food episode, y'all start talking about Oreo McFlurries, and I have had a craving for them ever since that I have blamed on you. Finally had one the other day, and it is every bit as good as I remembered.
So
Oh my
good.
God, that sounds so good right now.
So good.
So hot out. The story from today's episode about the guy who got into a fight with his girlfriend, and then his real gay girlfriend came up behind him after the girl he fought with left. I thought it sounded familiar, and it's because they interviewed that guy on a podcast called Radio Rental.
Well, yeah.
It's super cool, people telling their own experiences with the paranormal ghost killers, but the audio editing makes it so spooky. Highly recommend. You girls will love it.
I mentioned that in the episode. I said this story's from Radio Rental.
I didn't even hear you say that. No
Cool.
one listens.
No one listens to
next
me
thing,
when I talk.
you did an episode. People only listen to me because my voice is so horrible. You can
That's
go
not
to
true.
You can go to Reddit for more info on that. 3, you did an episode on the Annabelle doll recently, and I have a related story. When I was a kid, my mom's friends would bring over boxes of books and clothes and swap stuff. I was also a huge reader, having read pretty much every book in the house, including my mom's collection of true crime books that I definitely should not have been reading that young by the time I was 12. So I remember this one specific instance that my mom's best friend brought over a box of books and my mom gave me first dibs. This is how I got a hold of a book called Annabelle by Ruby Jean Jensen. The front cover features a porcelain doll, of which I own several thanks to my grandmother's, hanging from a noose.
What?
It's about a girl named Jessica who finds a doll in an abandoned house near hers, and the doll starts killing anyone who she thinks is going to keep Jessica from her. I reread this book a ton and remember it being a well-written horror novel.
Oh my god, I'm looking at the cover right now. I'll put it as my background so you guys can see the horror.
Unfortunately, it was lent out to someone at some point and I eventually lost it. That's crazy. When the movie came out, I just assumed it was based on the book, but it's not. I'm not sure how there isn't some sort of plagiarism involved, but also I'm not a lawyer. I want nothing more than to be reunited with a copy of this book. I bet you soon you'll be at a used bookstore and find it.
Oh,
ew, I hate that. That's so creepy.
Gross.
You can't see the noose real well, but
It's been out of print for years and copies are worth like $200. I still keep an eye out at thrift stores, but I've never seen a copy in the wild. I'm sure I'll think of plenty more stories that I want to share with you girls, so you'll hear from me again. Shout out to Melissa because I'm from a small town near Kalamazoo and went to Western, so I love hearing familiar references and a Michigan accent.
I still have a Michigan. I feel like I do. When I sometimes am editing this podcast, I'll hear myself and I'm like, oh God. Like my A's are like A.
Really?
Yeah, it really. I feel like when I'm talking quickly, it really comes out. I can't get rid of it.
Notice. Okay, so I'm curious though. Let's see here. So the Annabelle. This happened in 1968. The Annabelle thing. The haunting.
Right.
The haunting happened in 1968. So when did this book come out?
Annabelle.
Or the book was written.
Allie, I found your memoir.
1987.
Okay, so then she obviously was inspired by the real life event and wrote a book.
Is that your memoir, Allie? That I just texted?
God.
Wait and see.
That actually is really good.
A skeleton woman chained up with beautiful red hair.
Yeah.
And,
you know what's weird about that?
Holding some sort of sword, and it's she unlocked
knife.
death's chains and released unimaginable horror. The Allie Siegel story.
Wow.
I just ordered red hair dye.
Oh,
No, you didn't.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm so bored.
Then that is you. I knew it.
I know, that's just weird that she has red hair, and I literally just ordered like red overtone. It's called ginger.
Ooh.
I'm loving these book covers, and I would love to get into Ruby Jean Jensen.
Old book covers are so cool, especially like old thrillers and old sci-fi. They're like really gorgeous. Okay, while you guys are looking at those, I'm going to read another. This is from DC. Hey there, web crawlers gang. Longtime listener, first time emailer here. Just wanted to drop you a note to say how much I enjoy the show. Listening to the episode with Paul F. Tompkins last night, I had to wonder, do any podcasts have as much laughter per show as yours? No. By the way, I was born in La Jolla, so there's a chance I might know Maria's best friend, Susan.
Well, she's not from La Jolla. That's the thing. So I don't
her last
know.
name is
Oh,
La
really?
Jolla.
Oh,
Her
that's
last
just
name
her last
was
name.
just La Jolla.
Oh, got it. Okay. Keep up the good work and thanks for all the laughs, Yawn Dave. Thank you, Yawn Dave.
This is from Liz. Subject is another creepy triangle of death story and assassins.
Whoa.
First of all, love the show. You gals always keep me laughing. My sister introduced me to your show last summer and we're your biggest fans.
Wow.
Also wanted to say thanks for the awesome cameo you made her for her birthday. She loved it.
I just recently let like 3 cameos expire. Sorry. It's just like there's stuff happening in the world right now. I didn't want to be like, hey.
We
it just
did
felt
have
stupid.
a cameo. Yeah. And also like we're still...
Yeah, but you're letting people down.
Well, I know. We'll redo them at another time. Sorry.
We love Craig's segments so much, especially because we're from Northern Illinois and live in Chicago. I'm a little freaked out, though, after the episode of him talking about how Milwaukee to Chicago to Rockford makes up the Triangle of Death, where I grew up and live. Although Rockford is definitely considered the armpit of Illinois and is trash, so no surprises there. I did a little digging after listening to the Urban Legends episode about one I vaguely remembered from when I was a kid. It turns out there is this old abandoned motel not far from where I grew up that I always thought was creepy driving past it all the time. And in grade school, we all came up with creepy stories about it. So when I just Googled it, I found out that the owner murdered and dismembered one of the residents over a bad drug deal. and his head, arms, and legs were found in a forest in my very small hometown a few years ago, after his torso had been discovered in a shallow grave. It's called the Serengeti Lodge now, but was previously called the Bohemia Restaurant and Motel. So creepy. Thanks for the nightmare fuel, Craig. Also, Melissa, loved your story about the water gun game. We had a similar game in high school called Assassins, and I ended up winning because I was not popular, so no one knew where I lived.
Oh my God.
I won $300 and wrote my college entrance essay about it, so it pays to be unpopular, kids. Keep up the great sleuthing, and honk honk. Love, Liz.
Yes.
Yes,
absolutely.
Liz.
Honk honk.
Take advantage of being unpopular. You can win $300.
There is no better indicator to success than being unpopular.
Truly.
It's a direct
I was
correlation.
very unpopular. Look at me now.
Look at me now, baby. Living at my parents' house. What about Kayla? We have one from Kayla.
Kayla. Subject is sibling senses. Hi, ladies. I was listening to the Glitches and Simulations episode when I heard Allie's story of her brother sensing she was in trouble when she had a bloody nose. I have a similar story to share. My younger sister and I are about 3 years apart and have a close relationship. One afternoon, a few years back when we were still teens, she left to do a routine dog sitting job. Not long after she left, I started to get a bad feeling, so I called her cell, but she didn't answer. I called the number of the house she was dog sitting at, no answer. My mom wasn't concerned, but I was worried enough to drive to the house to check on her. Once I got there, I heard someone calling my name from the backyard. It was my sister, and she had somehow locked herself out of the house, leaving her phone and her keys inside. It was the middle of summer in Louisiana, so it was super hot and humid outside, and the small older dogs were getting heat fatigue. My sister said she was thinking as hard as she could, "Kayla, come help me," over and over. When I showed up with a spare key, sibling sorcery is totally a thing. Can't convince me otherwise. Anyways, love the podcast. You make me laugh super hard. Hope we hear more of Maria's Bigfoot dick jokes in the future. Boy-o-yo-yo-yoing, Kayla. That's
Honk honk.
crazy.
That's bonkers.
I totally
That's
believe
scary.
in like sibling connections and like twin stuff. That stuff is.
That's why twins are so scary.
Yes.
The next email we have is from Anna. Hi, ladies. It's me again. I was thinking about some urban legends and thought about one in my state of Wisconsin. The Rhinelander Hodag was created by a prankster, Eugene Simeon Shepard. He was a lumberjack in northern Wisconsin and was looking for a way to make money when the lumber industry was scarce. We should think of a way to make money through a prank when the podcast industry is scarce. He wrote an article in the local paper about the Hodag and described it as the head of a frog, the grinning face of a giant elephant, thick, short legs set off by huge claws, the back of a dinosaur, and a long tail with spears at the end. Then, in 1896, he said that he captured a live Hodag. The first Oneida Country Fair allowed him to have an attraction. Basically, he created this legend and conned people out of their money to come and see it at the fair. It was a puppet, and his sons moved the limbs and hissed. Some scientists from the Smithsonian investigated it and made him share that it was a hoax. The Hodag is a beloved creature in Wisconsin, and there is a yearly Hodag festival. It's a high school mascot and was included in the Fantastic Beasts book. I think this guy seems cool.
I've heard of that.
I know a couple Hodags. Looking right at 'em.
That's Hobag, Maria.
Yeah,
It's
Maria.
not. It's Hodag. That's the Hodag.
Not the ones I'm looking at.
Maria.
Well, I just sent you guys the wrong link for sure.
Allie just sent us a stimulus program link. It's the scariest link of them all.
To be fair, though, I wasn't looking at that stimulus program. It's a pop up at the bottom of this. What is a Hodag?
Oh wow, the Hodag's cool. The Hodag
I know, I
looks
think
like
Hodag's tight.
McFiggles.
Yeah,
Oh, it does.
it does look like pickles.
With fangs.
Let's get into
Wow.
it. You're all the best. Thanks for getting me through quarantine, Anna.
Thanks, Anna.
So
Thanks,
thanks.
Anna.
I like the
I
like the
like a
Hodag.
Hodag.
Yeah, I like a
the
Hodag.
Melissa, do you want to get the next one?
Yes, this is from Abdullah. Hi guys, longtime listener, first time emailer. We have a local urban legend here in Karachi, Pakistan, of a woman in white walking on the sidewalk at midnight or later. If you approach her while driving, she asks you for a ride, and if you oblige, she kills you. The way to avoid that happening is looking at her feet before approaching her. Her feet are supposed to be backwards. So if you see that, step the hell out of that accelerator and get the hell out of there. This all supposedly takes place at Karsaz Road in Karachi. If you go to YouTube and search Karsaz Road Ghost or Karsaz Road Haunting, you'll get a few fun jump scare videos about it and also a few news clippings about this relatively popular phenomenon. Love your podcast and especially the daily mini episodes you've been putting out. Abdullah.
Wow,
a woman with backwards feet.
Could you imagine looking down, like starting with their head and thinking like normal, and then looking down and both feet are completely turned around?
That's terrifying.
That's actually that could just be a horror movie in and of. There needs to be no plot except for that. That's so scary.
The whole movie, an hour and a half, is them tilting the camera
just
down,
a slow
from
pan.
her face, and the end is just her backwards feet.
That sounds like a high concept, like Italian or Spanish horror.
It does. It
I think
really
that's like Suspiria. I think that's like what the movie Suspiria is.
Just backwards feet.
So this is from.
She's trying to dance with two backwards feet.
Yeah. Suspiria is a crazy movie. This is from Nicole Pugh, new fan. Hi, I'm new to your show, but love the concept. I've listened to the episodes on serial killers, the Cecil Hotel, Rasputin, and the Sarah Lawrence cult today. Wow. You guys talk some about the abilities of Rasputin and Lawrence Ray to brainwash people. I think they and many other people, if you pay attention, are narcissists. Narcissists use the same techniques that they've honed over and over again to manipulate people. It can happen to anyone because the narcissist is able to sniff out the victim's vulnerability, insecurity, loneliness, family strife, and to present themselves in a way that is pleasing to the victim. Narcissists are the ultimate predators. It has less to do with intelligence and more about having good people around, who can spot trouble. I think someone we've seen a lot in the media lately may fit the bill. Obviously, Trump. Look into narcissism. The boogeyman no longer hides in the dark. He might have just bought you coffee. Stay safe out there, Nicole.
The boogeyman bought me coffee?
That's
I
good.
love that book.
That's a good horror movie.
The boogeyman brought me. The boogeyman bought me coffee. If the boogeyman brought me coffee, I'd say thank you, boogeyman.
Thank you, boogeyman.
That sounds like a Goosebumps.
A goose from the boogeyman bought me coffee,
Yeah, I don't mind it.
and I lived to tell the tale, and I lived to give the tip.
All right, Maria. Melissa, what's the next one?
It's from Lauren. Hi, Allie, Melissa, and Maria. I have a recommendation for a mini episode, Little People, and it's not what you think. The Crow tribe has a folklore cryptid in their mythology of a race of little people who live in the Prior Mountains. They're sort of like dwarves in Lord of the Rings, very vicious and xenophobic. They're basically like Sasquatch. Some believe and have claimed to seen them while others believe it's a myth. I have no opinion either way. I'm not a member of the Crow tribe, but live on the reservation.
Wow.
Okay. I also have a personal creepy story. I was running out in a very isolated area, i.e. all of Montana, and felt pretty safe. The only thing around was an abandoned cemetery. As I was running, a truck suddenly appears around a corner, which was the first vehicle I'd seen that day. I stopped and moved into the barrel pit like usual, as the road is very narrow. Suddenly the truck stops, and I vividly remember that I was listening to a podcast of the BTK killer. For what felt like forever, there was a standoff where neither of us moved. Then this white man gets out of his truck and starts to walk towards me really aggressively, shouting something I couldn't hear over my headphones. I reached into my waistband and flipped open my 4-inch switchblade I take everywhere and raised it up silently. Yes, switchblade. I remember thinking,
do you have a switchblade, Melissa? I can imagine you having a switchblade.
I have a mace. I have a thing of mace that I keep, but you know what I have on my keys? It's a little cat face with like ears poking up. So it's like you hold it in your hand. It's like spikes.
Oh, I get it. Yeah. What do you have? Do you have anything, Maria?
I have pepper spray, which I was actually holding this morning because Pickles woke me up at 5:15 to go to the bathroom, and so I got my pepper spray with us, and then we went out.
Nice.
And we've got knives.
I've got some knives. For what felt like forever, there was a standoff. I pulled out my switchblade. I remember thinking that he could take me, but I could at least stab the shit out of him before I died, and hopefully he'd get caught going to the hospital. This truly felt weirdly slowed down, where I became hyper aware of my surroundings and my thoughts. He seemed startled that I was standing my ground and hesitated at the sight of the knife, but as it's Montana, I knew he'd have one gun in the truck at minimum. Jeez.
Yeah.
Finally, all this adrenaline seemed to burst out of me, and without thinking, I screamed, "Let's do this already, motherfucker." I didn't even.
Oh my God.
I didn't even feel like myself. I felt like this vicious bar brawler of a bastard. This absolutely terrifies the guy, and he jumps in his pickup and he speeds away. The second it was out of sight, this ballsy person inside of me seemed to burst out, and I was stuck to the grass in panic. The direction that the man drove was the way I needed to go to get back to town, so I didn't want to run home, and I knew there was no cell service, so I couldn't call for help. I was frozen with panic, and a man's voice clearly said in my ear, "Run." I looked up, and there was the abandoned cemetery right next to me, watching everything that happened. So I did what that voice said and ran the fastest I've ever ran through the fields and sagebrush and trees until I got back to town. It was terrifying, and I know in my heart that it would have gone much differently if that cemetery hadn't been there. Sorry this is so long for all the typos, because I'm not reading this again. Also, I definitely still run out there because fuck that guy. Keep on podcasting, Laura. Damn.
Oh my God.
Laura
That's
with a switchblade.
yeah, shit. That's crazy, man.
Good for you.
Yeah. Okay. Here's another one. Murderer Encounter by Amelia. Hey gals, so long-time listener, first-time emailer from Sydney, Australia. So if anything doesn't make sense in this email, it's because of that, and I'm a few red wines deep. I just listened to your podcast whilst chopping snack veggies, because I'm definitely put on COVID-19 kilograms. When you played the voicemail of that poor woman's niece and remembered I had my own brush with a future murderer, so I had to email in. That's crazy.
Oh no.
Like most recent year 12 Australian graduates, there's already like two things I don't understand. The
Kilograms.
19 kilograms
in
and the
year
recent year 12 Australian graduates. My friends and I went on schoolies, like spring break, but mostly that year's year 12 graduates, unless you were older and then you were a toolie. Okay.
Schoolies and toolies.
We'd booked a room. Melissa, you read it.
So the schoolies and toolies. Where is this, Australia? I love learning other countries' jargon.
Me too.
It's
I'm
funny.
not laughing. I'm not laughing because I'm just laughing because you said some things might be different, and then like everything was different. I was expecting nothing to be different, and then everything.
So we booked a room in a hotel that had suites that were also used for permanent residents. Anyway, on about day 5, my friends and I were pre-drinking on the balcony outside when the guys above us, also on schoolies, started yelling down to us to come up. At first we were like, no, we're heading out, but they were persistent and would yell down one of our friends' names and they heard us talking to. Anyways, these 2 older guys next door came out and were like, we had to come out and know what the yelling was about. So we started talking to them and they were pouring shots over the gate and we were a few drinks in. So we were like, fuck it, why not? So while we're chatting away to these guys next door, the guys upstairs are still asking us to come up. So one of our next door friends was like, why don't you go up and we'll come up with you to protect you because we don't know these guys. So at this point, we're fairly drunk and we were like, okay, let's go. Drinks are running out. Why not? So these 2 guys come up with us and we go in. Everything's cool. We're all drinking, playing beer pong. Do you know beer pong, Allie?
I sure do. Darn tootin'.
You're darn tooly schooling, I do. So... and then one of the upstairs guys is like, nah, this older guy has got to go. And we're like, no, it's cool. Like, come on. And he's just like, no, I get bad vibes. And so it's their room. So I'm like, okay, I'll tell them that we're all heading out. Anyways, the older guy is like, no, I'll walk you there. I want to make sure you're safe. And one of the upstairs guys is like, no, it's fine. We're meeting up with more friends, so she'll be fine. He was still persistent and was like, I'm not leaving you until you come with me. So stupidly trying to diffuse any situation, I'm like, right, well, I'm not feeling well, so I'm going to go out anyway. So I'm going to go back downstairs with my friends. She goes upstairs. The guy's going to come too because I need to get my ID before I head out. So we go downstairs and he walks me to our door and goes, I want you to come to my house. And at this point, I'm very weirded out and I'm like, no, I'm going home. I don't feel well. But he's being very forceful. And the guy from upstairs that was with my friend was like, mate, fuck off. And he backed up and he went home.
Whoa.
Anyways, we went out that night. We were in the lift coming back up. Lift is elevator, Ellie. We're in the lift coming back up to our apartment. And he and another very drunk, like can't stand up drunk girl get in with me and my friend. And at this point, even though we were pretty drunk ourselves, are on high alert. She looked schoolies age. So I kind of go, oh my God, it's so good to see you. Oh, that's a good trick.
Yeah.
She's confused, but comes back hugging. And I'm like, how do you know? And she goes, well, we just met tonight. At this point, she can't stand up, eyes shut. She can barely talk. So my friend is like, you have to come and see our suite. He's very defensive, tries to diffuse our conversation. Anyways, they're walking down the hall and we're next door to each other. So I go, come over for a quick drink. And she's like, sure. So my friend quickly steers her into our apartment and I shut the door on him. He's banging on the door and we're like, are you okay? And she had no idea where she was or what was going on. And we were like, well, why don't you chill here and we can call who you're staying with so they know you're okay. So she's fine. She sobers up and is like, I cannot remember a thing.
Oh my God, she got like roofied or
So a year goes by and the news is lit up with the Australian Tinder murderer.
No.
The same guy killed a woman in the same apartment that was next to ours and that I nearly went into just so this guy would stop being so persistent, which is so fucking dumb. I was so lucky I was with people who knew better. Anyways, I'm sorry this was a long-ass email. I'm not even sure if it makes sense, but thought I'd recount my creepy brush with a murderer, which, to be honest, I should have known earlier because he owned a sauna on his balcony.
Oh,
red flag. Also, my mom made me go to one of the landmark courses as a teen, but that's a story for another long email.
Oh my God, this poor girl has been through so much.
Love you gals so much. You're making quarantine so much more better for me. Lots of love, Millie. Holy
That's like
shit.
That's
women.
a crazy story.
Being polite will get you killed.
Yes.
Like seriously.
I've never heard of the Oh yeah, 2016.
But that's so smart what they did for that other girl.
Yeah, in the
That's
elevator,
so
like,
smart.
it's so good
Instead
to
of
see
like
you.
Instead of like upping the like being like, wait, do you know this girl? Do you know that
Right.
you just wow, that's thinking on your feet.
That's
Yeah,
good.
They're heroes. They
Yeah.
saved that girl's life.
Yeah, you
man.
saved her life.
You saved a life.
Holy shit.
This next email is from Steven in regards to Jerusalem syndrome, which we talked about. In regards to Jerusalem syndrome, there is also a similar Paris syndrome, which is suffered by Japanese tourists who are shocked upon arriving in Paris to find out it's not as beautiful as they imagined and how rude the locals are. Paris syndrome is also not recognized as a condition by the DSM.
That's
Okay,
crazy.
I have that then because when I arrived in Paris, I was like, yeah, okay.
I think that's just being disappointed. That doesn't seem like I don't know if how
Well,
I
it
feel about
just-
these syndromes.
I think Paris is bigger. Like it's just like more spread out. Where it's like when I think of Paris, I'm like walking down a street and like everything's as it should be. But
like everyone's holding like baguettes and they're like, je ne sais quoi.
right,
Maria.
but I didn't even go to the Eiffel Tower when I was in Paris. One, because we got our Airbnb had bed bugs in it.
No.
And two, I was like, I don't understand the layout. And also like, I'm sorry, but I'm not impressed. And that's not, but you know what? It's also, I think I didn't have, if I had money, I think Paris would be the best.
Yeah.
I think there should be Los Angeles syndrome. Like Los
Yeah.
Angeles is like not cool or pretty. Like Hollywood Boulevard is one of the grossest places I've seen in my life.
Okay, yeah, Hollywood Boulevard is, but LA is so pretty to me.
That's because you're a local. Like I love LA and I can't imagine living anywhere else, but it's not a cool, it's ugly, it's dirty. Like it's not.
Oh, you're trying to get people not to come. That's why you're saying it.
No, I swear to God, LA is ugly. It's not pretty.
No, it's very pretty. What do you mean?
There are parts of it that are Like the park.
Like it's so pretty.
The what
Griffith Park.
parks?
Griffith Park.
Griffith Park.
Griffith Park is a beautiful park.
The Huntington
Think about like
Library.
Central Park. Okay, yeah, like we have a few
sensual
we have, like,
park?
one nice
Central.
Central Park. like New York and like Boston actually have like beautiful, spacious parks. Like we don't have like we have like
you
two
don't know what you're
museums.
saying.
I know exactly what I'm
you've
saying.
got Los Angeles syndrome.
I
right now.
agree
I'm a
with
Los
Allie.
Angeles truther. That's what I'm
You don't think
saying.
LA's
I have
pretty?
LA syndrome.
Not
No, I
there-
think it's like
No.
it's dirty. The buildings are ugly. It has no charm.
You aren't
It
going
is-
to the. Oh my God, you guys aren't going to the right places.
Where should I go, Maria?
Los Feliz.
I
No.
grew up in the Palisades. Then I lived in Malibu. I've lived in like the quote unquote beautiful places in LA, and I think it's ugly.
Malibu's pretty.
I've lived in Mar Vista. I've lived in Westwood. I've lived in West Hollywood, and I've lived in Los Feliz. I've lived everywhere in LA.
And what's your problem?
Everything.
What's wrong with it? What's ugly about it?
I love Los Angeles. It is I will die for Los Angeles. I
Look
think it's
at
the
this.
coolest place on earth.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
hills.
that's not like gorgeous to me.
That's not gorgeous to you? The hills, the Hollywood Hills? You guys are nuts. You guys are anti-Angelina.
Compared to other cities, I don't think it is.
to
comparatively,
what
it's not.
city? Like Rome, got it. But like what?
or even
Paris
just
is
like
bullshit compared to LA.
I think Paris
think about
is
like
beautiful.
Savannah, Georgia, with like the weeping willows and like the
Savannah,
old,
Georgia is built on tears and suffering.
I agree with you.
LA is built on dreams, hopes and dreams. And yes, also tears and suffering, but
Different kinds of tears.
a different kind.
Look at San
I agree.
Francisco. Look how nice that
I've
is.
never even been to San Francisco, so I can't even weigh in.
They have really steep streets that I'm not a fan of.
You guys are nuts. If LA's so gross, then why don't you get out of here? Why don't you go move to,
Where, Maria? Where should we move to?
I don't know, go to Albuquerque or something.
Utah and Arizona, like the scenery there, I think is really beautiful.
yeah,
like
Zion.
all the mountains.
That's nice.
You're talking about national parks.
Yosemite's really nice.
I think anywhere with like a really lush forest is really beautiful.
Yeah.
Like an upstate, like
We're talking about a city.
Maria, I'm just saying.
Well,
I'm just saying people who aggrandize what Los Angeles looks like it's not like the Malibu beaches are like dirty and smell bad.
You're
like you're
out
not
of your. No, they aren't. Santa Monica is. Maybe you have to drive up to Zuma.
Zuma Beach is
but-
overrated.
there should also be LA. How this started was that I think there should also be LA syndrome.
Yeah.
Well, if there's LA syndrome, then consider me immune. Consider me immune. Because
You've got
you know
the
what?
antibodies.
That's right. And I'd like to pass those antibodies on to you guys, but it seems like you're rejecting your anti-vaxxers, is what you are.
Wait, how
you
did
don't
this
want
get
them.
into us being anti-vaxxers?
You guys are anti-vaxxers because you don't want my LA syndrome immunity antibodies. And I think that's pretty crazy.
Well, every day I realize more and more why iTunes won't feature us, but I kind of like it. Like I like that we're leading into it. Okay, what else do we have from Anna? Do you want to do this one, or whose turn?
We've
is
been
it to
doing this for
read?
like 2 hours, right? This mailbag episode is like 2 hours.
We're at
I know, should we just stop?
52 minutes.
Should we stop the mailbag episode? Yeah, let's save the last few emails and voicemails for next time.
Yeah, well, this is gone too
Take
far.
Too long. This is too long. That is a testament to you guys really just like are in constant contact with us, and we
It's
really,
great.
really appreciate it.
We love
We
it.
love our listeners so much. You guys are like family to us, and our podcast is your podcast. So any new listeners, like get your friends to listen and just know this is a community effort. You, your friends, us, web crawlers is a feeling. And you're just as involved as we are. Does anyone else have anything to say on that note?
Hold on, I'm sending you a picture of
Oh,
of the
Of LA.
the Tinder the Tinder killer, the Australian Tinder
he hot?
killer.
Wait, he looks exactly what the psychic drew as my soulmate. No?
No, he does not have a little goatee.
It was a
He does
good- well,
not.
He shaved.
He does not.
If he didn't shave a goatee, this would be your soulmate.
He looks exactly like what this is.
Oh, boy.
Wait a minute. Maybe this is your guy.
Okay, he is the most evil eyes I've ever seen.
Gable
Yeah.
Tosti.
hope he's in prison.
Ew. Gross.
That's a really scary picture.
His
He doesn't
teeth
look as
are
much
like
like
too white.
Wait a minute. It says he's not guilty.
Wait.
What?
What? No.
Gable Tosti not guilty in Australia Tinder death.
A girl fell from a balcony, 14-story apartment.
girls don't just fall from balconies, sweetheart.
Yeah, especially this guy who
That's
was like
gravity 101,
Well,
babe.
you've never seen
rejoins Tinder after being acquitted of murdering his date. This was October 2019.
Wait a minute. Is it Gable Tosti
Yes.
again? Okay, so he was not guilty in 2016. Another girl dies in
No.
2019, and
He just as of 2019, it says he rejoined Tinder in 2019.
Okay, Tinder needs to do background checks.
And this guy's clearly a creep because of that email, like taking advantage of that girl in the elevator. He's wearing a Make Australia Great Again hat.
Listen to this. During the trial, a key piece of evidence was a 199-minute audio recording of her pleading to be allowed to leave the apartment.
What?
The recording was found on Mr. Tosti. I want to call him Mr.
Yeah.
Toasty, though.
Mr. Toasty.
On Mr. Toasty's phone after he made a decision to secretly record their altercation before Miss Wright's fall. Prosecutors said the recording proved his guilt, while his defense lawyer said it showed he was innocent. So what he can be heard saying while he's physically assaulting her after she threw ornamental rocks at him, "You're lucky I haven't chucked you off my balcony." Mr. Toasty says on the recording made on his phone, "If you try to pull anything, I'll knock you out."
And he's not guilty. What the fuck?
We need to do a whole episode on this guy. This is
I
insane.
can't.
This is really crazy.
And that's from BBC.com. That's
Yeah, I'd never heard of this guy until now.
Who found him not guilty?
If he's still on Tinder, like, we need to contact Tinder. I know someone who one of like the CEOs of Tinder, like
Australian Tinder, though?
No, just normal Tinder. But I mean, I'm sure it like Tinder started here and then moved to Australia. Like,
Well, you know this Tinder in Australia is all backwards.
Wait.
You have to swipe. Yeah, you have to swipe left if you like somebody.
As of January 2020, the Gold Coast man Gabe Tosti has reportedly been caught in a Tinder date dispute after a woman became uncomfortable while he was at her home. That she called the police and had to remove him from her home at about 4:15 a.m. on New Year's Eve this year.
what?
Oh my god! And he looks
the
like.
woman said that he was making her feel uncomfortable and he wouldn't leave.
You guys, look at his pants in the picture I'm sending you right now. I mean, if there's any evidence, if I was on the jury and I saw evidence of someone wearing pants like that, I'd say guilty, guilty.
He now goes by Eric Thomas. He changed
his name.
Yes.
To Eric Thomas? So
Yes.
stupid.
Maria, that picture didn't work.
I can't.
It didn't?
Is it a prank? Is it a prank?
No, it's
picture
not
or
a
something?
prank.
It didn't work. It's just a blank. It's like a blank thing. Okay, well, this is an hour and a half episode, so we should probably wrap it up. Anyways, if people want to email us or whatever so they can be part of one of our future mailbag episodes, where can they contact us?
You can email us at webcrawlerspod@gmail.com, and you can send us messages on Twitter and Instagram, or find us on Facebook and
Do you
Reddit.
see the pants? Do you
Yeah,
see the
those are
pants?
ill-fitting pants.
They're the worst.
Yeah, he needs a tailor in addition to some other thing. All right. Well, that's our mailbag episode. Next episode, we'll still have more voicemails and emails because we only got through about half, which really is a testament to how much we love to communicate with you guys. Anyways, I am Allie Siegel.
I'm Melissa Stettin.
And I'm producer Maria.
Bye.
Bye.
An Erios original.
Powered by Acast.